And Happy New Year, Airgun Geeks. Wow. It's 2025, Bill. I can't believe we're already in a new year.
And just to say, we're kind of late for the New Year greetings there, Pat. It's freaking February, man.
It's our first podcast of the 2025 season. So I want to wish everyone a Happy New Year. Hope you had a great holiday. Hope you made it through all the family drama and whatnot and got some new air guns and some new toys to be outside. We're excited for this year coming up. And we've also celebrated, Bill, our 4-year anniversary on the 26th of January.
We're 4 years old.
We're 4 years there. At least, well, maybe in dog years, it might be a little older. But
my wife says I'm 4 years old with 58 years experience.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So thanks, everyone, for subscribing and following the Airgun Geeks podcast. It's been an adventure and a journey, and we're glad that everyone's still on board with us.
Yeah, you guys make it possible. You make all of this happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, most definitely. So to start off 2025, we're sitting here in Port St. Lucie, Florida, right after a fun competition.
Yeah, we've got a whole order of crow coming. We've ordered crow for everyone here on the podcast. We're all going to sit here and eat crow because we absolutely stunk up the joint yesterday, but we had a good time.
Most definitely. Yeah, we had a good time. I was excited, first off, of seeing you, Bill, coming down again in the new year. Having a good time getting ready for the Headshotz competition in Clewiston, Florida. So we got to play with your dusty, MK2 Impact that you had?
Well, we'll get into that story in a minute, but that was a true journey. Yeah, that's an adventure in and of itself right there. But
so other than that, as you guys have been following myself and Bill, I started working at Palm Beach Airguns with Joel and Julie. Very excited.
And Palm Beach Air.
And they actually asked us to be on their shooting team.
Yes, to actually be their shooting team right now.
Right now,
we were it. And it was so much fun to come out here and hang out with those two. And if you're looking for a place, a brick and mortar to go touch, feel, handle, talk to somebody who's knowledgeable about an air gun, Palm Beach is an excellent destination to get that done. I have nothing but excellence from either one of them, Joel, any of them, even Patrick, even Pat.
You get to talk to me while if you give a call there.
Yep, Julie, Pat, and Joel are just outstanding hosts, and I'm very, very gracious to them for having me come out and represent them yesterday.
Definitely. Yeah, so make sure you follow Palm Beach Airguns on Instagram.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff going on. We're doing some big changes to the showroom and updating inventory and stuff. So make sure you give us a call. We always got some pretty good deals going on. And those that are in the airsoft and paintball world, we do have some stuff for you, so definitely check us out. And if you're also into the firearms.
Yeah, if you favor the pew-pews.
We got those too. We're a Class 3 dealer there, so suppressors, short barrel rifles, and stuff like that. Be glad to talk to you about that. So with that being said, Bill, we pulled out your MK2 and found some things. She was a little old.
Well, I don't get a chance to shoot the 30 cal very much because I'm generally practicing for field target, and that's not a 30 caliber game. You would really suck at field target if you tried shooting it with 30 cal, especially with the match directors that I get who like to have like 1/4 inch diameter apertures on their targets. 30 cal pellets not gonna function very well in that environment. So I don't get to shoot it much, and as Pat can attest, it really has never been serviced since I bought it in 2019. And anybody who owns a higher end air gun knows that those O-rings need to be serviced kind of on the regular. And I I'll tell you, Pat, I started out, I went to go to the range in California because, okay, this guy calls me last Sunday, a week before the event. He says, hey, are you ready for that event? I'm like, you haven't talked to me in a month. And now you want to know if I'm ready to jump on an aircraft and go shoot? I'm like, no, I'm not ready, but I probably can be. So I drag this gun out of the case and I blow the dust off of it. And I go to the range because my range access badge hasn't been working. And I'm like, oh boy, I'm going to really need to have that range time to get out to 100 yards. I find out my access card no longer works. Dues are paid, everything was in order, but they've been having issues with our access. So I get that fixed that night. The president of the club actually agreed to come and let me in. That was what I had to jump through to get there. I get the gun on paper. I get it at 50, at 75, at 100. And I'm seeing this, the dreaded vertical drift. My groups are going up and down. Side to side was great. I mean, the gun is really, really accurate, but I'm getting this vertical dance. And I'm like, man, this is either regulator or it's something loose. It turned out to not be anything loose. It was my regulator. And we were at I had to fly with the gun in that state, get out here to Florida. I'll tell you, I had the pros at PBA help me out, and we all three of us dug into that bike or that gun and tore it apart. And my O-rings, most of them, Pat, came out in chunks, right?
Yes, they did. They were hard as a rock.
Yeah. So, it was really going to be an ugly failure if I had continued down that path. So, big thanks to these guys for helping me diagnose that gun and getting it back in the game. And then we had some other issues, Pat. That were kind of self-induced. Those are always the best kind. And then throughout all of this, we've got like 2 days to get ready for yesterday's event. And one day, we pretty much spent the day driving back and forth to Miami because we had some medical issues to tend to, not our own, but other cared members of the family to tend to. And then we end up with our one opportunity to go to an absolutely spectacular range. Yes. And I'm going to put in some footage here in this in the video version of this podcast so people can see. But it was a world class. It's state operated, right?
Yeah. It's run by the FWC, the Florida Wildlife Commission.
Wow. I'm telling you, this facility, if you're looking for a destination place to go get some dust off of your pew-pews, that is the place to do it. World-class sporting clays, trap, skeet, rifle, pistol.
Even 10 meter.
Yeah.
10 meter pistol there.
Yep. Excellent facilities, excellent training, really good opportunities there. Anyway, we get out there, and Pat, what did we forget? What was the one thing we needed to do with that gun after servicing the regulator? What's the single most important thing?
Tune it, and then bring in a chronograph that we each have many of, but have failed to put in the box.
So put this in perspective, 2 guys with probably a combined collection of chronographs, probably I've got 9 in California.
I have 3.
Pat's got 3. So we're talking about 12 chronographs that could have been in the game. How many of us do you think actually remembered to bring a chronograph to the range?
Well, we remembered, but we were sitting in front of the range.
We didn't remember until we were there. Yeah. Well, that was a big goose egg. Neither one of us freaking remembered. So now we're trying to tune a gun without a chronograph. And I'll tell you, if you want a lesson in mental focus, here it is, because we're actually trying to back analyze the trajectory of my gun using Pat's gun as a reference.
Yep.
So luckily we both had the same magnification and MOA grids on our reticles. So we're able to get reasonably-ish numbers off of that. How much drop are you getting at 100? What was your zero at 50? Playing that game and then trying to match my trajectory to his gun.
Now, I knew how fast I was actually shooting a raw LRF stock 30 caliber. I knew how fast mine was going because I chronoed it. Everything was good. So I was at like 905 feet per second. And at 100 yards, it was 12 mil holdover.
Yep.
So I was like, all right. So as long as we can get there, you should be pretty close.
Yeah.
So
that's how we tuned my gun. It was literally the back way, like taking trajectory and trying to equate. So, I mean, not the right way to do it. Don't ever
it's the hardest way to do it.
Don't ever take this as advice because it isn't. It's the wrong way to do that. Bring your chronograph, do it the right way. Get your velocity stable first, and then your tune nice and quiet, and do it the right way. But anyway, here's a couple of idiots trying to get ready for a contest. We've got very, very limited time and very limited opportunities to get this work done. And we showed up. We were ready to play. But we're playing a game with wiffle ball bats against guys that are coming in with Louisville Sluggers. And that's literally the correct analogy because this game, this shooting event that they put on was, when they first told me about it, they said it's kind of like field target and
PRS,
kind of all balled together. I'm like, what in the hell am I signing up for? I've never been to anything like this. I've never personally shot PRS in my life.
Me neither.
So for me, it was a first time experience there. So as you can imagine, poorly tuned gun, inexperienced shooter, using the wrong ammo because this was definitely a slug game. The ranges, because they went all the way out to 125, right, Pat?
From 40 yards to 125 and a couple dabbles in between that in an open field with trees.
Yeah.
Wow. It was a challenge. It was fun.
Yeah.
But it was a slugman's game all the way through. Not that pellets couldn't do it, but slugs is what you really needed.
Yep.
We had some major drift at the 100+ range.
Yeah, may or may not have gotten an angry call from the neighbor while we were at that match.
That's a whole nother conversation. But that was...
it was fun. But that definitely added to the ambiance.
I think it was part of it.
Yeah.
It really disrupted everything. But it all worked out. Everyone was happy at the end.
And we got to shoot with some celebrity there. We got to shoot with Airgun Angie.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
She was there. She was rocking a huge stack of Airgun Hobbyist magazines, autographing those. I got an autographed copy, although
same here.
Pat tells me he put it in the truck and I haven't seen my copy yet, so I don't know if he secretly stole it or not, but we're going to have that conversation later off camera. But it was definitely not my A game. And I apologize to my sponsors for not bringing my A game, but I'm gonna throw Pat under the bus and blame it all on him and say
it was my fault. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I won't make that mistake again, and I am looking to either potentially retool that Mark II. I think I can breathe some new life into her. I won't be able to push really big slugs with it, but I think I can get a slug that will give me a better chance at getting higher performance at events like that. And that'll become the gun for that, because I'm told they play that game a lot here in Florida.
Yeah, they do a lot of slug tossing down here.
Yeah.
For the
and
long
it's
distance.
not that it's a slug only event, because you can shoot pellets. I mean, I shot pellets, but it is definitely a better event for the competitor if they're using something that's better at distance and better at bucking the wind. So anyway, we had that, and so we're squatted, 4 shooters to a squad, right?
Yep.
And we end up with Bill and Pat as half of that squad. The other half of that was Canyon and Terry Clark. And anybody who's ever had to shoot against Terry Clark knows what you have just ushered in a day of competition that you might regret. He's a gentleman. He's a wonderful guy to shoot with. Absolutely lovely. but I'll tell you what, he's going to take your lunch money.
He's a sleeper.
He doesn't say much. He just goes up there and he gets it done. And all you hear is poof, thwack, poof, thwack, as this guy's hitting steel every time. I was scoring for him, and I just wanted to just take and make a line all the way across the chart and just say, yeah, they're all hits. I mean, I don't need to put an individual X in here. It's Terry Clark shooting. But what was really entertaining, Pat, to me, was we had the young buck, right?
Yeah.
What was he shooting?
He was shooting a 700 millimeter Panthera. I don't know. The long PRS got into Panthera by FX, and that was in 25 cal, and I think he was shooting, what slug was it? Starts with an A. My brain left me on that one. They're CNC'd. I can't think what they're called. Anthos. We'll put it up. But real precise, and then I forget what scope he had. I think it was an Element, if I remember right, but I'm not positive. But he was on his game. I mean, he had the gun tuned. Everything was great.
Well, he had two things going for him. All right. Number one, he's a young buck.
Mm-hmm.
He seemed to have really good discipline in marksmanship. And he had his equipment dialed. Mm-hmm. He really understood it. He knew his dope. And it was kind of funny because he had his dope notebook. Not just a dope card, he had a dope notebook. And he would put it down on the ground, and then he had a piece of 2x8, and he would lay on the notebook to make sure the pages didn't blow close. and that was his dope solution. Mm-hmm. Now, understand that in the squad of 4 men, Pat and I are shooting with the 2 that would end up in his shoot-off for the win.
Yep.
And they're making us look like podunk children out there.
Like we were shooting with Daisy BB guns.
Yes. Yeah. It was definitely, if you ever had your ego get a little too far ahead of you, go shoot with those 2 guys and it will definitely put it in check.
But in defense, we'll call it the yin and yang team. Slugs, pellets. We were the pellet team.
Yeah.
We did the best we could.
Yeah.
But that was a slugman's game with discipline, preparation.
Plus, we provided a certain amount of contrast for them to look so good.
Yes.
Right? Because you really don't know how really good somebody looks unless you contrast it with somebody who completely sucks. And we provided that. It was one of the many services that the Airgun Geeks brings to the competition game. I'm kidding. But, we definitely, we had our challenges, but we had a great time. And I may or may not have been last. I don't really know the answer to that. Pat can honestly say he didn't come in last.
I didn't come in last. I beat you by a lot, by 100 points. But that's besides the point. So you were not last. There were 2 people that were below you.
Oh, wow.
So
I feel so much better now.
The golden rules.
I feel redeemed.
The golden rules of the Airgun Geeks podcast have not been violated. 1, we all had fun.
Yeah.
2, neither of us came in last.
Yep.
Nowhere near last.
Now, to add to this drama that's unfolding in front of us, right? We've got the young buck with the Hot Rod FX gun. It looked gorgeous. I mean, it had a beautiful camo job on it. It was definitely, he brought his A game. He had his lovely team member, his wife, who kept kissing him every time he would shoot. I'm like, hey, this is unfair. She's got to kiss all of us. You can't have that advantage and leave us high and dry. She wasn't amenable to that idea at all. I don't blame her. But the other guy we had was Terry Clark.
Yes.
And you don't want to give that guy any more advantage than he already has walking up to the table, because he is an amazing, amazing competitor. Gem of a guy, great to shoot with, but he's going to very quietly beat you up and take your lunch money. And that's what he did. But so we're building up, right? Pat and I are both scoring these guys, right? We're trading off. I didn't actually do much of the visuals, but I was definitely heavy on the scoring. And we're like, oh man, this is going to be close. these guys are both like every round we would shoot, they would be like really, really close.
10, 20 points. So 1 to 2 shots because there were
Yeah.
10 points per shot.
Yep.
And they were back and forth the whole
Yep.
way through the whole tournament.
And then we get to the end, and guess what? They're tied.
Tied.
So now we've got a shoot off. So we've got Young Buck, Hot Rod FX gun. Terry Clark is not going to be upstaged. He's got a only recently announced existence from Daystate. Their new, what is it, the Black Wolf?
It's the Black Wolf in their black chassis, they call it. Yeah,
Wow.
to me, it's like a PRS chassis. And I'm looking at that when I first saw it, Bill, and I'm like, is that the Black Wolf? And he's like, yes.
Yeah.
I was like, that's an all mechanical gun from Daystate. He goes, yes.
And it's not a wolf in sheep's clothing.
No.
It's a wolf in wolf's clothing.
Yeah.
And it was a good looking gun. It shot tremendously well.
Yeah.
And when you've got a guy like Terry behind the trigger driving that thing, you've got a winning team. And Pat, I learned from Terry recently that, because I asked him, I said, Terry, were you using slugs in this event or was that pellets? Because some of his earlier, he had released some of his kind of work that he worked on developing that gun with Daystate.
Secretly, no one really knew too much about that. But
until a week ago, and then he started blabbing about
yeah.
it on the onlines. And he's like, yeah, I've been working with this. I got about 6,000 rounds through this gun. And he says 2 days ago, before the event, so 3 days ago now, they actually sent him a slug barrel. He's like, I really need a slug barrel for this event in Florida. So only 2 days ago before the event, does he get the slug barrel. He told me he slept 2 hours in the last 48 hours to get the dope and get that gun dialed and tuned.
Wow.
So he put in the time. He came prepared. I did not. And he absolutely put on a show with that gun. So here's a Daystate, ready for this, that actually shoots slugs incredibly well.
Incredibly well. And it's a Kentucky long gun. But Terry likes long guns, he said.
Yeah. It doubles as a fishing pole.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
28, so we'll go 711 millimeters. That's Daystate's measurement. But that's 28 inches for us Americans here. And then he added I think a 6-inch 0 dB moderator.
Wow.
On top of that. So needless to say, the gun comes in long before Terry does.
Yeah.
But it
He's
was
got
a
a special
solid
truck
gun
for that thing too.
Yeah. It was a solid gun overall. Let me hold it. I bounced it around. The barrel is rigid. I mean, I was impressed.
Yeah.
And now it's got me thinking about it. I'm like, I like mechanical guns. I like the way it's toolless tuning, short of the reg. You just need an Allen. But all of your adjustment is in the back.
Yeah.
There's a little wheel on the back. Slick gun. Looks cool. And I must say, when we were researching it, so many options for stocks.
Oh, yeah.
And barrel lengths.
Yep.
Like you could do field target with it all the way up to 30 cal, 28-inch barrel, 100 and I think 52 foot-pounds.
Yeah.
From a Daystate.
Yep.
Shut the front door, close it. We got to figure this out. This is new for Daystate. So
Yes.
now Pat's looking at Daystate again because I'm really not an electronics guy. But now I'm like, this is something that's caught my eye. And I do need a slug gun, but and I need a bench gun and I need a speed gun. So this Airgun Geek is trying to figure out 2025 on what gun to use.
And to be fair, you got to pump the brakes, Johnny Cash, on running out and throwing the credit card down on that.
Correct,
because
correct.
It's not an inexpensive gun.
It is.
This isn't an entry level precision gun. It is priced accordingly.
It's top shelf.
But performance-wise, I saw what it can do, and it definitely deserves a really good look. But there seems to be, Pat, I don't know, you tell me if you've seen this, but we're starting to see this push towards guns that can move heavier 30 cal projectiles at, mid 9s, upper 900s feet per second ranges. They can switch back and forth between slugs and pellets depending on where you're competing.
Correct.
That seems to be what's kind of jockeying for position in the competitive arena.
I'm glad you said that, because some guys can't afford, well, I'll say a lot of guys, especially with what's going on, they can't afford 2 guns.
Yeah.
And you go to one competition and you have to have slugs.
Yep.
Or you're just there to shoot air guns and have fun.
Yep.
And try not to be last. And then there's being competitive. So you got this competition, you could shoot slugs. But then you got another competition, you can only shoot pellets. And what if, I've already seen it, Bill, where this game over here, let's say we're going to do like a PRS thing like we did, we got to shoot slugs.
Yeah.
But then when this is done, we're going to do speed, but you can't use slugs.
Yep.
Or we're going to do something over here, it's got to be pellets. I'm really seeing it to where you could pull that barrel or do a quick tune. Let's say that had, 23 adjustments. We go down to 6 or 2, and now we can shoot pellets accurately and not mess with the reg.
Yep.
And then go right back to it. And, that'd be curious to see if that gun's capable of doing that.
Yeah.
Even if it's a barrel change.
Yeah.
Because
it is a single Lothar-Walther barrel.
Yeah.
So changes should be pretty clean and easy.
It looked like just a couple of set screws. I haven't looked real close, but a couple set screws and the barrel comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, and the barrel.
Neither one of us have worked on it yet, so
this is just looking at it real quick during your competition.
We're giving it the the high altitude
and the website. Seeing the different barrel options. That would be cool. But I think Daystate's really opened up a new section in the stadium, which is exciting because you got to be competitive. Slugs are growing pretty fast.
Yep.
And to be able to do both and have one gun, I mean that's cool in itself.
Yeah, it is.
So it's exciting for the future. That's what's really got me going.
And Terry tells me that in that box that he got from Daystate, because he was shooting a 25 cal yesterday.
Yep.
And I think that was because he had so much experience with 25 cal before this event.
Okay.
That he probably didn't have the ammo and the stuff to really explore the 30, but he's got 30 cal.
He's got a 30 cal barrel?
He's got 30 cal slug barrels in that box that he's going to start tuning that with. I said, man, you got a whole box full of fun for the next couple of weeks for you to play and get that thing dialed. So if you see Terry Clark is going to show up at your event, just thank you, sir. Do I just pay my entry fee to you because you're going to get it anyway? I'm kidding. Show up and give him a run for his money.
Yep.
And make him earn that first place trophy. But if anybody's going to take it, he's got a good chance. I think he won the last event I was here at, didn't he, Pat? The iguana one in over the summer.
I think so. Yeah.
The one Jessica did?
The extreme field target version of it.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. I'm not positive, but I think he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's competitive, and he's the nicest guy. He'll kill you with kindness. He'll smile at you while he's getting his first place trophies and the best thing I think is it doesn't go to his head. He's enjoying fun and just having tons of feedback for whoever wants it.
Yep.
I like him.
I also want to thank Talon Tunes.
Yes.
For sponsoring the event yesterday. They really did a respectable job of putting up some excellent prize levels.
Great prize levels.
They did prize levels for senior shooters, not seniors that shoot, but
adult shooters.
And juniors as well.
Yeah.
And,
there was the junior shooters too at this event.
Yep. And they got some no joke money for that event. So big applause to Talon Tunes for ponying up not only money, but they gave the one junior kid a really nice FX Wildcat.
Yep. Wildcat.
Custom prepared by them.
And some of the juniors beat their dads.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
But that's good. That's the future of airgunning, and that's what we're all about, is bringing in the young ones. So yeah, Talent Tunes, appreciate everything you've done, everything that you stand for, the support you guys do. You guys got a good reputation in the airgun community. Keep up the good work, and we'll definitely see you at all the competitions. I love it. I love it. And they're down here in Florida. Don't be afraid to check them out either. Yeah, I'm excited. This is. I'm so excited. Bill, I don't even know what to say. There's so much going on down here in Florida and in the airgun world that it's crazy.
So, just so everybody knows, if you see these shirts, that means the Airgun Geeks are showing up to shoot competitively. This will be my first year competing in a lot of these events, because usually when we go to an event, I'm doing the interviews, I'm doing the collection of content for our podcast. But this year we're changing it up a little bit.
Yep.
And I'm gonna shoot a little bit and fly the colors for our sponsors at PBA. And we are super excited to rep their brand and bring their whole ethos of their shop to the competitive scene.
Correct. And in the 2025 season, I want to thank all of the sponsors and new sponsors that have supported us in the past and are supporting us here in the future, so that we can go around and get you guys content, a different angle, perspective in the airgun world. We appreciate all of the financial support, equipment support in every which way, even the phone calls and emails that all of you guys are doing. Just wishing us luck, asking us questions, keeping our brains ticking, going, we didn't think about that. That's a good one. We, like I said, and like Bill and I said in the beginning, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. And I'll be honest, Bill, I'm shocked that we're already at 4 years and y'all are still just listening and asking. And when we see you guys in public, you're like, oh my God, how are you guys? And the young ones still do it. They love it at the end when I say, stay geeky.
Oh, you can't do that now? No, we're not done yet.
We're not done, no. But it's such a tagline that was so goofy when I started, Bill. It just came out. And you know what? When the kids do it, I laugh. And it just warms my heart. It's so much fun. So that will never change. And another tagline that kicks me real good is magic ain't cheap. I love that tagline. But 2025 is going to be so much fun with all the new stuff coming out. We got another competition coming up that you're coming to, Bill, I hope. And I'm letting you know now. On April.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks for the heads up, buddy.
On April 12th.
Old pal.
April 12th, 2025, Palm Beach Airguns is sponsoring the Ancient City Airgun Challenge. You can go to ancientcityairgunchallenge.com. Make sure you register soon. There's only so many spots, and then that's it. But even if you're not shooting, don't want to shoot, hesitant to shoot, just show up. Show up on the day, have some fun. I know there's going to be prizes and raffles and all sorts of crazy stuff going on. We're going to have a good time. It's a challenging one. The course of fire's on there and all that. So just go to Ancient City Airgun Challenge.
And that is a true extreme field target.
Yes, it's all flippy targets. As far as I know, you go from anywhere from, we'll say, 10 yards to 100 yards. And from what I can remember, it's 2 minutes you get from when you put your butt down to when you go. 2 minutes. So it's an under pressure type of challenge. So practice that way. Run around, do whatever you think you need to do, but you can find out all the facts, rules, course of fire, everything at the ancientcityairgunchallenge.com. And I think it's $100. It's $99. There's food at the end. So last year they had a live band, a pig roast, beverages of all sort, adult and non-adult beverages were there. We had a blast, Bill. So much fun. So that's all part of it. And, if you got questions, you can call Palm Beach Airguns. you can also contact through
And
the
they're a
website.
sponsor of this event, by the way.
Palm Beach Airguns is the sponsor, yes.
Yep.
So if you have any questions, you can call and ask for me, or you can ask for Joel or Julie. You can email at info@palmbeachairguns.com, however you want to get the information. But make sure you sign up as soon as possible, because that's only about a month and a half away. And you need to get in there. Otherwise, you're going to be a spectator. And the prizes, they're going to be pretty good. They're going to be pretty good from what I hear. Can't say what they are right now.
I remember you did pretty well there last year. You
I
walked
did.
away with some pretty interesting accoutrement.
Well, that's why I'm also a fan of Talon Tunes, because they brought the AGT Vixen, and I got two raffle tickets. And
So you got 2 tickets to Paradise.
Two tickets. Cost me $20 for both. And they called my number. And I have an AGT Vixen Long in 22, and I absolutely love that gun. It
Nice.
is a tack driver.
So we mentioned sponsors before, and I want to make sure that I ask our viewers to take a moment, and when you see our sponsors for this year's podcast, take a moment, email those guys and say, hey, I saw you on the Airgun Geeks podcast, and I want to thank you for sponsoring those guys. What this does is it really lets our sponsors know that you guys are seeing their stuff. You're seeing us fly their colors, and you are aware that they're the reason that we're here. So do give us a little bit of exposure, and just it doesn't cost you anything unless you're like me and you go there and you spend money. But just take a moment and reach out to them and say, hey, thanks for supporting the Airgun Geeks. We really appreciate it. And if you want to show them some financial love, that's great too. Also, we battle this all the time. The YouTube algorithm is not kind to anything that is even slightly gun flavored. So the best way for us to battle back with that is with you guys.
Yes.
Share this content, spread it around, talk about it, give it to your friends, comment in the comments for the YouTube video, comment back to Pat and I. If you're listening on audio, get the word back to us that way. It lets us know that we're on the right path and we're giving you the content you want. That's really what we're after.
Correct.
Oh, and while I'm on the topic, we ran into a dry period there for a while with Target Forge. Target Forge supplies a lot of parts and stuff for GX compressors. And I really ran out of parts, and we were having some issues with supply there. We just got a huge, and I mean huge, shipment of GX parts. So I have seal kits, I have pistons, I have replacement motor and gearboxes for CS2s, CS3s. I've even got a prototype of a complete replaceable cylinder for the CS4. So if you have a CS4 or a CS4i, we're going to have replacement cylinders. You don't want to take those cylinders apart. There is not a lot of user serviceable parts inside that cylinder. And odds are, if you take it apart, you're either going to damage it or you're not going to remember how to put it together correctly, and you're going to be unhappy. So the service for those pumps, CS4, CS4i, the service is going to be you purchase a new cylinder and you change it out and you're back in the game. And literally, it's like a complete refresh for your entire compressor by changing that cylinder assembly out. It's not inexpensive, but it's a great compressor that can run for a really long period of time because it's water cooled, and it's going to be a great choice if you want to fill both large bottles and your gun directly. I've gotten spoiled now, Pat. I keep it on my bench that I film a lot of my content on, and it's the only compressor I use anymore. I fill all my guns with that, but. There's some other interesting things that are coming, I expect in the next few months that are currently under wraps. I can't talk about them yet, but they're going to set the airgun world on fire, I believe, if it all pays off. So we're gonna keep it mum for now, but keep an eye on the Airgun Geeks for early warning of what that's going to be, because I think it's going to make a lot of guys really happy.
Yep.
I gotten a lot of feedback about that particular topic, and I haven't been very verbal about it because I've been waiting to see how this is all going to play out. So I've got some test work to do when I get back to California here, Pat. You gotta get me back to the airport tomorrow so that I can get on that.
Will do.
But Target Forge, alive and vibrant, and I apologize for the pause in video content on there. I have another channel, as Pat can attest, that grabs my attention. It's called the DIY Maker, and you can find that at DIY Maker 1 on YouTube. If you just search that @ symbol, DIY Maker 1, you'll find that. And none of it is airgun related, because I wanted a channel where I wasn't getting punitive action from YouTube, and a chance to kind of explore my creativity with other projects. So you will see those projects on that channel. And you'll also see some reviews of stuff that I think is cool or worthy of your time. I won't put crap on there that I don't think is worth your time, but do check that out. And if we're at an event and you see us rocking these shirts, or you don't see us rocking these shirts, you just see us, do come up, talk to us, tell us what you like, what you don't like about the podcast, and grab a card from us, and we'd love to meet you guys, love to interact with our fans while we're out in the wild.
Correct.
And we have it on good authority. We're going to have Airgun Angie here in the foreseeable future. She's going to be a guest on our podcast. And we'd really like to get Terry Clark on here and pick his brain about what it takes to come out to an event with 2 hours sleep and take everybody's lunch money, like I said.
Correct.
He's particularly good at that. So what else have we got to cover, Pat?
So the podcasts are going to be, so everyone knows we used to do 2 podcasts would come out a month. This year for 2025, due to many reasons, one podcast will come out per month unless we get a special one. Then you'll get 2 that month. So just make sure you subscribe and you hit the alarm for all podcasts. But generally, they'll come around the first week, second week of every month. So yeah, that was probably the biggest thing. Other than that, I don't know. I don't have anything else at this time.
Yeah, I think that's been about it for me. Oh, and if you ordered seals or pistons and they were back ordered, send me an email with your order number, and I will investigate it and make sure that it's a valid back order, and then I will get that out to you. My inventory system is really terrible. It largely exists in my head, which is not a place anything should ever exist for any period of time. So do reach out to me if I owe you something, and we'll look into it and get that filled. But do know that the parts for GX are back in stock, and of course my light kits and my hour meters for all of the GX compressors have always been in stock and are always available, and so is my service grease as well. So do check that out too.
Correct. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you guys again in this new year. We're excited for the future, for the continuing journey. And like always, stay safe, stay healthy, enjoy the family. And like always, stay geeky.